Well, I'm here with Will and Will, what's your last name? Just because I don't want to butcher it.
Betances.
That's exactly how I was going to say it. So I'm here with Will, and you have your own electrical company. You guys are growing and operating. You were just talking with me about that. That's pretty exciting. And then you also, are you the founder?
Correct.
Of Energize Us training school? Am I saying that right?
You're hitting it on the head. It's Energize Us EDU.
Beautiful. And that's about training electricians, correct?
Correct. It's going to be our apprenticeship training program. There's different facets altogether in the holding.
Well, we'll get into that.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get into that for sure. So we're sitting here, and we're in Connecticut. And what is this building that we're sitting in right now? We got some stuff going on in the background here.
So this is going to be our new headquarters for not only Energize Us, my electrical contracting company, but then at the same time, this is going to be our studio. We're actually in our studio room in the future. So this is where we're going to have our whole camera set up. This is where we're going to film a lot of our hybrid classes.
Okay.
Our study at your own pace classes is going to be all handled right here. On the other side, we have our main hall for our contracting business as well. And then upstairs is some office spaces. And then we have storage on the other end.
Wow. You're really doing it all.
Trying.
Like, I mean, man. And you were talking to me a little bit earlier. You're flying around the country and getting home just in time for your wife to have a baby. Like, you like some intensity, don't you?
Yeah, I think we were talking about before. You were like, a lot of people are achieving or working towards achieving something. And my thing is, I'm just in it for the chase. I'm just trying to chase that next nut.
Wow. That's, I think you said that your wife said that's toxic, but what?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Did I tell you that you also don't get to edit the things that I say? So.
Right.
Oh my.
It's a two-way street.
So, tell us a little bit about your origins. You know, you were talking with me the other day about it, and I really think that our listeners would like to know, like, well, how did you end up where you are now? Where did you start from? So what are the origins of what got you to where you are?
I appreciate that. And what I love about life in general, one of my biggest and most favorite topics to go over is history.
Yeah.
Not only in the country, I love the founding fathers. I love just how I love understanding people's stories. And for me personally, I feel like I have a boring story.
Every tradesman thinks that. Right? And every tradesman is wrong.
When I was growing up, I was one of those kids who didn't do anything crazy. Yeah. I had a very strict household. I grew up. It was very Christian, very growing up. Hey, this is what we do. We do this on Saturdays. We do this on Sundays. This is how life is.
Yeah.
And as an adult, I can see the value in that now.
Yeah.
As a kid, it sucks. As a kid, it sucks when you go to school on Monday and everyone's talking about what type of weekend they just had.
Yeah.
And you're like, part of you is like, But what I do appreciate, and I have more value for that now, is my parents always had me hang out with older people. Yeah. In the sense where I always had a mentor some phase in my life.
Come on.
As a kid, from 10, 11, 12, there was always somebody I can go to.
Yeah. I think that's something, you know, people talk about it a lot, but I think that's one of the biggest things in life that especially, and I think whether you're a man or a woman, but I only have a perspective from being a young man. That was huge for me in my life. And I think that, you know, one of the things that we don't realize is how important that is to have someone even outside of your own family that you can go to for mentorship and to process things. And just today I was talking with a gentleman, and he was expressing, you know, he was in a like a Vistage group or a CEO's group, and he was expressing the benefits of that and being able to have mentors even in business. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I think that's something that we really neglect, how important that really is to be able to have that outlet.
Yeah, no, and tremendously. And, you know, as we mentioned before, at the moment as a kid, you don't see the value in that.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it hits you later on in life, or when you start seeing the same problems come up, you're like, didn't so-and-so mention that already? And it's like, why is this the third time I'm hitting this then? Yeah. It's one of those things that really comes down the line.
Yeah, for sure.
No pun intended.
I like that. So that was how you grew up. Then you had told me you went to a vocational school?
Yeah. So in Queens, there's very few vocational trade school, high schools still around.
In Queens, New York, you're talking about.
Well, all 5 boroughs.
Okay.
So New York City, me living in Queens, there was, I believe, like 3. It was like Queens Voc. Thomas Edison was another one. And then there's a few other local trade schools. There's a few in other boroughs too.
So what is for those that might not know, because I think that these are a dying thing, vocational high school?
So a vocational high school, it's just like a vocational trade school.
Okay.
So typically, let's say if you're looking to come into the trades, you go to Blackline, you go to Energize Us, you go to UEI, you go to Lincoln Tech, you go to any other Porter Chester to sign up for the program. And what do? You work your job, and then after hours, you go to a trade school, and they'll teach you the apprenticeship training. Now, a vocational high school is that apprenticeship training during the workday. Just like Abatech High School right here is locally, we have the same thing. We just, if anyone's looking, I'm getting validation from John.
There are other people behind the lens.
So they're fact checking us as we go. But yeah, there's very few vocational high schools nationwide, and that's a big concern. A lot of people are saying they're taking trades shop out of high school.
Yeah.
New York City is one of the few cities that still maintain vocational high schools. So when I went through high school, I went in at 8 o'clock. I had an extra 2 periods of electrical curriculum.
Come on. Well, that's something that I really wish. I don't even remember anything like that in my my upbringing or in my state. That's really cool that you were able to experience that.
And what I loved about that, we go back to the type of crowd I had when I was growing up. As you can imagine, you're in 7th, 8th, 9th grade, you're applying for high school. So what does a normal 7th, 8th, 9th grader want to do? I want to go where all my friends are going.
Yeah.
That's where mentors in my life were like, hey, I went to this high school. You got to go to this high school. It got me this job.
Yeah.
To the point where I remember they helped me fill out the application. I put it in my book bag, but I had another copy. And I put in the high schools of all my friends. To the point where they knew what type of mind I had.
Yeah.
Took me to school that day and said, by the way, let me see that application. I don't know how I could have swore I was the sneakiest kid in the world, but they knew. They were like, something's going on. Let me check the paperwork. And I didn't have the paperwork. They ripped it up and they applied for the school and they got me into the high school.
Come on.
Yeah.
Wow. So then you go from there, and you were telling me earlier, then you joined a local union. So tell me about that. Tell me about that transition.
So after we graduate high school, as you can imagine, everyone enjoys summer vacation. I went straight to work. I actually didn't go to graduation because my first day started during graduation.
So I'm starting to sense a pattern here. You were jumping off a plane when your wife was about to have a baby. You're going right to, okay.
It's never about the diploma.
Yeah.
It's always just what's the next. Yeah. So when they said, literally, when can you start? I was like, I can start tomorrow. So then, boom, the next day was graduation. I forgot all about it.
So this is really ingrained in you. Wow,
Yeah.
there's something broken in you.
I know, right? This whole time I just needed a hug, maybe.
That is not something I'm going to give you. So, yeah.
But yeah, so I didn't go to graduation, went straight to work. And like what we talked about before, what I loved about the trades was at 18, a lot of people run into I'm not going to college now, so I got to go into construction as a default.
Right.
You know,
right.
I'm getting into construction intentionally now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what was exciting is a lot of people who spent the last 4 years of high school hanging out with their friends, you know, hanging out on the weekends. Now they're starting their apprenticeship at 18. I already finished my apprenticeship at 18. So when we were both working, because we're not in school no more.
That is huge.
Yeah.
That is huge.
And it's something that people don't recognize. So Monday to Friday, we're at work. It's a normal job, 8 to 4. But these guys had to stop at 2 o'clock to clean up by 4 o'clock to be at their apprenticeship by 5 o'clock.
Wow.
So they were getting part-time while I was at full-time and overtime already.
Wow.
Right at 18.
Wow.
So the benefits of going through a vocational high school, it's night and day.
Yeah.
I tell people they got to come into the trade. Yes. Go through a trade school. Find a company-sponsored program. 100%. If you can get somebody at 12, 13, 14 to go to a vocational high school, that guy is set for life.
Yeah.
Or gal.
Yeah.
They're set for life.
Yeah.
Because you just expedited 4 years on already being successful at 18.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that you end up not only learning when you go into the trades, you learn some very different things that you can't learn in college, that you can't learn. How do I want to say? I remember for me, I didn't go to a vocational high school. So at 18, I went into, I think I might have been 17 because I did graduate a little early, but 17, I went into, full time, went into an apprenticeship. But when I got on the job, it was like, you become an adult really fast.
Yeah.
Like it's, you get to deal with, real stuff, and, you have to handle working with people. You have to handle working with people that don't want to work with you. You have to, one of the things that I love about being an electrician is on a project, we have to work with every single trade.
Yep.
And I think that really helps be a little bit more rounded in just how to handle situations and people. And so you really are set up ahead of it if you're going through that through a high school, and then you're going right into, like at 18, you're right there in the workforce and you're going into dealing with real life stuff.
Yep.
So talk about that. So you're in a union now.
Yeah. So one thing, what I appreciate about going straight into the workforce and already finishing the apprenticeship program is I had a understanding, and I really enjoyed the fact that I understood code, for example. When I was in the union, when I was with the group that I was working with, like we are also talked about the different types of union.
There are different types.
So when I jumped into the union, I was working for MTA.
Okay.
So it's a New York State Federal Railroad.
Right.
So I was working for the state of New York.
Yeah.
They don't build, they sub all the new construction out to big companies, but we do facility maintenance. So I'm union.
Yeah.
I'm on BEW, but I'm maintenance electrician. I'm a wireman instead of construction. So the mentality is completely different.
Yeah.
So instead of, hey, we got to get this done today, it's more like, hey, we just have to maintain it so nothing doesn't burn down. So
that is an important thing in the electrical world, is we don't want things to burn down.
So it was like a hurry up and wait type of scenario. It was always like, clock in. Hey, there's an issue over there. Show up. What do we do? Oh, it's out of our scope.
Yeah.
So it was like, make sure we respond, make sure we're there, but then don't do nothing. So that was the type of world we're in. And this
based on what I've learned about your personality, that must have been a little difficult for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because like I told you, people loved that job because it was a retirement job, especially in New York City.
Yeah.
The culture was, hey, get a union job and you don't have to worry for
set. You're set.
You got your vacations, you have your time off, you got unlimited overtime. That's like the culture. Get your bacon, egg, and cheese, jump on the bus, head to work. You got all the overtime you want. I was going to fall into the typical New Yorker.
Yeah.
Just with the union job. And it's a badge of pride. Don't get me wrong. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a badge of pride. But in that setup, I'm like, whoa, I'm not ready to retire at 18.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where I had the clash.
Yeah.
To the point where, and when you mentioned with the people, that's where I recognize right off the bat, not everybody wants to keep improving.
Yeah.
Some people are happy being complacent, which is fine if you reached your goal. Because like I also mentioned, I'm working with a whole bunch of individuals who are working on their second pension. Yeah. So they did their hard 30 years already.
Yeah.
Maybe they want that comfortable job, but that was my first job.
Yeah.
So my first job is their retirement job, and now there's that clash of personalities to the point where I remember one story. And as I mentioned before, there was always mentors in my life. When I started the union, there was this gentleman. He was as smooth as can be, and his name was Mr. Perry. And he was like 70 years old. He always walked. He had a bad hip, but it looked like he had swag.
Yeah.
And he was always just walking like this.
Yeah.
Down the hallway, clock in, clock out. He didn't care if he was late. He was not running.
Yeah.
Just walk like this. And then he was like, hey, son. And he just kept walking. And till this day, he'll send me text, and it'll be like, you know how Snapple has Snapple bottle cap?
Facts? Yeah.
He would send me like random text. Like he goes, hey, you know you can catch flies with honey, but you can catch more honeys by being fly. Like he'll just, that was just, he's this old school, just this cool as cucumber, cool as can be. He just, nothing bothered him. But he was my mentor during the union.
Wow.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, there's some thunder out there.
So what I loved about one example.
You might want to close the window in the Bronco, just saying.
One example I had with Mr. Perry, and this is where he became my mentor, and I think he noticed that. It's because it was like my second weekend, I brought my code book to lunch.
You were one of those.
I was one of those because I was already working for my license.
Okay.
Remember, I already had my schooling hours.
Right. So you could, oh, wow.
So
that's right.
I'm thinking.
You were ahead of it.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm like, oh, if I already had a plan. If I do 6 months of overtime, I can get my 700, I could get my hours in.
Yeah.
Because high school also counted for 2,000 hours plus this schooling. So I was like, oh, dude, I could get my journeyman by the end of the year.
So I'm just curious, based on the way that you like to chase things, you don't really care about achieving things. Did you wait to get your card when you finally passed, or did you even have that? You just left that go? Yeah.
Yeah. So when I started bringing my code book,
yeah.
Now this is when I started recognizing, well, how other people view you. And then, you know, if everyone's complacent, they're like, why are you going for your license? Why are you doing this?
Can be threatening.
Exactly. Yeah. To the point where one guy came over, took my lunch and my code book and threw it on the floor.
Wow.
And Mr. Perry at the time was sitting across from me. And then he looks up, he goes, I don't know where you're from, but don't let nobody punk you. So I stood up and, you know, we do what men do, you know, and we took care of it there. The next day he came by. And like I said, I swiped in, I'm walking to the locker, I get my stuff. I see Mr. Perry walking down the hallway doing his little thing. We walk to the lunchroom. He stops me right before we walk in and he's like, where's your code book? And I was like, oh, you know, I left it in the locker. He's like, turn around, go get that code book.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's like,
good for him.
So I already knew what he was going to say. Yeah. He goes, don't let him.
Yeah.
I went, grabbed the code book, came right back. And then he goes, you let them know you're studying. And what are they going to do about it?
Yeah.
So I walked in, I threw it on the table, and then we did what men do again. It was round two. Come on.
That's
just back
awesome.
to back.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I love it.
So that was the story. And then after that, Mr. Perry and me were like to the hip. Anywhere he went, I went. Anytime I needed something, he came in. Dude, after that, Mr. Perry had my back for everything.
That is awesome.
So that was basically the intro to high school, the intro to the union, intro to the world of dealing with people after that.
So I ask people this question. What is a tool, Will, or a piece of gear that you just cannot live without? What is something that, if it's the one thing that you can have, what is that? In the tool and gear world.
The tool or gear world. Am I able to say something that's brand new? Or is it from the past?
No, you can just be truthful.
The last 3 months, bro, I've been addicted to AI.
I knew you were going to say that.
And
the old man in me died a little bit, but I knew you were going to say that because everybody says that.
I'm telling you, I'm talking to that thing more than I talk to my wife.
Okay, maybe we should edit certain things out of the podcast.
I'm telling you, when we have a lot of drives.
Wait, your wife doesn't listen to the podcast, so we're good.
She listens to all of it. But to the point where I have so many long drives. We'll be in Massachusetts. We'll either be traveling, and I'm talking to that thing all day. All day.
So expound on that. Like, what do you mean? You're talking to it about what?
So with the AI, like everyone has ChatGPT, for example. For ChatGPT, there's a setting where you can talk to it as another person. And it just takes notes for you, and it'll respond back to you. There's a setting. So not only is there prompts where like, hey, I need help with this. Can you explain it? There's a chat feature where you just turn it on, and now it's another person.
Wow.
So I have a whole relationship with it.
Wow, that is crazy.
And I'm just talking throughout the day, and I'm just like, and what was so funny is, with the team at Energize Us, what we're doing is we're trying to figure out what traits people are dealing with on day to day.
Yeah, come on.
So when I'm in the field with the guys, I'll have, Echo is my AI's name. His name's Echo. What I'll have is Echo listen throughout the day, just while we're talking. And then at the end of the day, I'll be like, give me a summary of what happened today. And it will be like funny things. It'll be like, you stopped for the bathroom like 6 times. Or you had 3 cups of coffee. Like, it'll give me executive summary of my day. And I'll be like, do you think a lot of contractors are drinking coffee? Cool. Let's talk to a coffee company.
Yeah.
And then that's how we just tackle things now. But everything that I'm going through, I'm talking to that thing everything is intentional now. I'm just talking, and just trying to see like what flags what pops up in my life that I maybe want to like dial in on or avoid. But I've been using that lately like nobody's business. Nobody's business.
Wow. That is interesting. No one has ever said that before. I ask this question every time. No one has ever said that before. That is a first.
It brings you down a rabbit hole because like as you train with the AI and you tell it like, hey, I want to do this. This is my goal.
Yeah.
So it'll be like you did this. You wanted this as a goal. Well, you did this 3 times and it's not even 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's not how it's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
So if you're deliberately trying to change or trying to tweak something up or improve in any way, shape, or form, it'll let you know.
Yeah.
I know a timestamp and boom, 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 boom. So that I feel
Measuring things with improving is really important.
and I think that's something that we need to do better in the trades as a whole.
Yeah.
Because we're the hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
We're the hey, I have a skill that people want. Let's just work harder.
Yeah.
You know? It's that next level, what can I do on top of that?
Yeah.
That I feel like a lot of people are like missing.
So this is a great segue for us. You mentioned Energize Us. So just to, we talked about your origin. We came through that. You then went out and started your own electrical business.
Yep.
And again, that wasn't enough. I just picture this like trail of businesses that you just, because you are going after things. But now you're involved, and your electrical business is still operating.
Correct.
Quite successfully, I might add. And you are now involved with other tradespeople in this thing called Energize Us. And what's the website?
It's energizeus-edu.today.
.today. Okay. So tell us what that is. People listening here, what exactly is that?
So Energize Us EDU as a whole, because we have it as a holding company.
Yeah.
We have so many different facets of, like right before the podcast, I was showing John.
You're chasing different things? Well, I'm shocked.
Yeah. It's just a whole, I have a spider web. So basically, that was a nice one.
Yeah. I was just thinking that's,
All right. Have you ever seen the flywheel of Disney?
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw that and I'm like, let me build that out for Energize Us.
Come on.
So I had a whole bunch of, where he had like, I'm going to make cartoons, I'm going to make songs, I'm going to make TV shows, I'm going to make comic books. That's what I said. Okay, what are those? What's the skill traits as a whole?
Yeah.
Boom. What is a successful business today doing? Boom. How do I blend the two together?
Come on.
And that's what I did with Energize Us.
Wow, that was a good one too. In case you can't hear this, which I'm sure you can, there's a thunderstorm going on around us.
So what was exciting about Energize Us EDU, when I first started it, off the bat, I'm like, this is not a solo man project. And I didn't even want to even attempt it because I learned that with my electrical contracting business.
Yeah.
Doing this alone is not going to help me out in the long term.
Yeah.
I said, share pressure. That was on top of on every time I had a book, notebook, bed.
What's the old proverb? It says, if you want to go fast, go alone.
Yep.
If you want to go far, you go together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And everywhere I went, my number one goal, even to this day, The Motive, the book, it's called The Motive. It's this individual who wrote, it'll come back to me. But
books are amazing. I think books are a huge part of improving yourself.
But the number one quote I had for years was share pressure. Share pressure. I'm not even going to attempt. I don't want my blood pressure to spike anymore. I don't even want no stress. I want to sleep when I want to go to sleep. I'm not trying to be up all night with this dream that I want to do and then make it turn into a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because we see so many contractors who jump into contracting because they love the trade and then they hate business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you see them close down, and it's sad to see like something that they were passionate about doesn't come to fruition.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I'm passionate about this, I don't want this to die.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do everything that's right. And from the beginning, I said share pressure. And that's where we got a lot of team members involved with this, a lot of public figures who are on social media involved with it. And it's just been an exciting journey sharing it with these guys.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's been pretty impressive. You guys, I'm seeing your posts all the time. And so you are offering training now, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so tell me about the training that you're currently offering.
So right now, our electrical apprenticeship program, open enrollment, it starts September 28th.
Okay.
It's going to be online hybrid. So we have our own LMS system where you can we're working right now with companies sponsored.
Yeah.
So if you are already employed with a contractor, that is your work experience during the hands-on portion.
Okay.
You come online just for your LMS, your learning side of things,
okay.
the theory side. We're also teaching NASEP courses, solar courses, certifications, OSHA, safety, first aid, you name it. That's also the courses that we're giving. Once again, John, I met him because we were at RE Plus in Boston.
Yeah.
He lives 10 minutes down the road from me. I never knew he was here. I had to meet him in Boston at a convention for solar, which is incredible. And then he's over here and saying, hey, I live down the block from you.
That's hysterical.
So I'm like, this whole time he was just in the backyard. So with RE Plus, we travel the U.S. with RE as well, and we do solar training. I know you saw some things on the roof right now.
I did notice that. Yeah.
I was teaching a solar class, showing them what happens behind a solar panel. And then, but those are the classes that right now is the hot topic with the renewables.
Okay. And they can do that online, and then as long as they're in a company that they can be getting their hands on as well.
The apprenticeship is different from the solar. The solar are just like certifications. It's like, hey, take this class for 2 days. Now you're certified. Yeah. So it's 2 different levels.
That's pretty cool. So tell me about, so you have that school, you're offering apprenticeship, you're offering certifications. My gosh, man, aren't you tired? Like, holy cow.
It is a lot, but once again, shared pressure. I already saw that coming in. We know what we want to run. We have a 7-year run right now with everything that we're going to do, with where we want to be. I already had in mind the types of conversation we're going to have in 7 years. We're going to have some of those big guys sitting across the table from us saying, hey, what do we got to do?
Yeah.
Because just with the way the industry going, I have a vision of where we're going to be in 7 years. Just like the post we posted the other day, how in 7 years, 41% are going to be retiring.
Yeah.
I don't need to outwork anybody. We just have to stick around.
Yeah.
You're
exactly right. You are exactly right.
You don't even need to be the best.
Yeah.
You just have to stick around, keep the lights on for 7 years, and by default, you're going to be around.
Yeah.
So that's the goal. And we said it from everybody in the beginning. 2041, 2050. This is our goal, guys. We just got to stick around. Just stick around, stay relevant.
Yeah.
And that's how it's been ever since. We're not going to take it too hard. Of course, we're moving with speed. Like, for example, the word for this year for Energize Us is forge. Last year was speed. But last year with speed, just like the skilled trades, how many people want to just jump into the trades and work?
Yeah.
We have a lot of waste.
Yeah.
True or not. That's where a lot of guys, they don't follow up with a customer because they're working during the day. So now they send an invoice at night. The homeowner has a discrepancy in it, but during the day you don't see the call from them because you're working on the next day. And then you're saying this guy doesn't want to pay me. It's like, no, they want to pay you. You just didn't communicate properly.
Yeah.
So they want to put all the effort into just working. For Energize Us, last year was our first year. So we know we had to work with speed. We had to get our name out there.
Wait a minute. Last year was their first year?
Yes.
Okay, you definitely worked with speed.
Yeah, but then there was a lot of waste.
Yeah.
So as you can imagine, that's why we made the word for this year. We all collectively came up and said the word is forge. So just like the forging process, that show on Forge on Netflix, where they're going, take a hot metal, shape it, quench it. Our word of the year was forge. So you still have to work with speed because it's hot, the heating process, the treatment process, but it's with making our blows count.
Yeah.
So that's why this year, we're working with speed, but we want to make sure everything that we do is intentional now.
Yeah. I like that.
Hence the AI, hence everything now coming together for that.
So I really am stuck on this shared pressure thing that you keep talking about. Because I think of people that I know, I think of people who are listening, and you say it, and it's a really cool statement. It's a really cool phrase. But if I'm getting windshield time in my truck on the way to the job in the morning, I'm listening to this podcast, I want to know and understand, okay, that's a really cool thing to say. How do you enact that? How do you enact shared pressure? How do you find people? And I think that you're a unique person to answer it because the people that you're sharing the pressure with aren't your neighbors necessarily.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some of these people, and they are literally all over the country, from California to Tennessee to Connecticut to New York. Like, they're all over. So for those who are listening, and for me, talk to me about some practicals with how you implemented that and how you went about that. Shared pressure.
It all started, once again, when it came to books. Clear communication. 5 dysfunctions of the team, 5 dysfunctions of a CEO. Everything was being intentional with how you communicate with people. The only way you can have clear intentions, clear conversations, clear communication is understanding where you want to be and understanding yourself. And I know this is going to tie back later on to it, but I've went through so much pain and heartache trying to do things alone, so much pain and thinking I had the answer and it didn't go anywhere where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Or there's so many times where I wanted something to get done and then asked everybody to help bless my actions, when it's like, why don't you ask people to, hey, let's come up with an idea together? So many trial and errors brought me to this point. And then, mentors at the same time. Like I work with individuals like Patrick Bet-David, who's helping build the school. So when I came to building and sharing pressure, it came to understanding what we want to do. And what I love about Black Lion is how you started off with saying, hey, we need the raw truth.
Yeah.
And that raw truth is our foundation.
Yeah.
It's that foundation because, like you mentioned, we have guys in California, we guys got in Tennessee, and each one with a different demographic.
Yeah.
We have a Southern American boy in Tennessee. We have a single proud mother in Florida. We have individuals in Texas. We have, in California, in the Northwest. Everybody, different demographic, but they all are in and bought in on the same vision.
There it is.
Because
there it is.
Shared.
Yeah.
We all value the same thing of what the trade has to offer. And if I lied to one of them, I would have to lie to the next person, then to the next. We have a web of so many individuals aligned on the same mission.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it possible to share this pressure.
Yeah.
So when we say, hey, this is what's happening this week, and like I mentioned with the AI, I'm telling, hey, AI, I'm doing this. At the end of the day, this is a summary. This is what you should work on. I don't understand that. Now bring that to the meeting with everybody else. Hey, guys, this is what I'm recognizing. This is what I need help with. Does anybody have experience with this? Someone usually goes, I don't, but I can tweak it up. Or someone will go, no, I just worked on that. Let me take over that. So it's also communicating, not trying to be this macho man.
Yeah.
And then just like you mentioned, how much further can you go when you're working together?
Yeah.
So that's one example. Now, filtering those people, as you can imagine, social media is another beast.
Beast would be the right word.
It's a whole nother beast, and not everybody, just because they have a page, brings the same type of value.
Yeah.
And that's where we had to filter everything out. And that is another story where we actually did a case study with the chief HR officer of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. So Ritz-Carlton, they're known as the gold standard of hospitality.
Yeah.
The gold standard. You go there.
Yeah, if you think I'm going to let you not talk about this, you're totally wrong. Go on. Come on.
We had the chief HR officer do a whole presentation, and they broke down human nature into 5 qualities. And he goes, and
okay, this is good stuff.
Those 5 qualities changed my life. I can't have a conversation. I can't have a discussion. I'm not hiring anybody. I'm not fighting with anybody without referring back to those 5 character traits. And what was so funny about those lessons that we learned, it was basically they taught you what is human needs, what are human tendency, what are human patterns. And they break it down. He goes, these are the 5. You put it in the order that applies to you and your industry.
So you have to tell us, I'm speaking for everybody that's listening right now, what are these 5 things?
So when you think of the skilled trades altogether, and you think about the current generation, we've seen for the last 30 years, the focus has been skill set, work ethic, vision, character, and trust.
Yeah.
Those are 5 areas every human wants to show.
Yeah.
Or they display qualities in these 5 areas: character, trust, vision, work ethic, skill set.
Yeah.
In the skilled trades, what do we typically see? When you see somebody looking to hire, what do they always say? 3 to 5 years experience.
Yeah.
It's like default.
Yeah.
We need someone 3 to 5 years experience. Wait, why? What are you hiring for?
Yeah.
You need a 3 to 5 year experience apprentice? No. Why? You want to get an able-bodied man to throw him on the field so you can start making a quick buck. We all understand that.
Yep.
That's 1 + 1 is 2.
Yeah.
That's why you need somebody, because nobody wants to invest into an apprentice. No one wants to invest into an apprentice.
The difference when you do that, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but like you're like speaking to my soul.
Yeah.
Like the difference when you invest in a person like that with an apprentice is you go from 1 + 1 = 2 to this thing that's called multiplication. Mm-hmm. And then it multiplies in ways that you cannot. Sorry, keep going. Sorry, I just couldn't help it.
You hit it on the head. And on top of that, listen to everybody who's truly passionate about the trade.
Yeah.
And what was their story?
Yeah.
It was always, true or not, or 9 times out of 10, we'll throw in and like 9 out of 10 dentists say this toothpaste.
Yeah.
So let's shake it up. 9 out of 10 contractors,
Yeah.
9 out of 10 influential people in the trades always have a hero story of someone gave me an opportunity.
Yeah.
They said, as long as you're hungry, just show up.
Yeah.
Just showing up, that's character, that's trust, that's
Yeah.
vision of what the trade has to offer.
Come on.
That's little work ethic
Yeah.
to none and zero skill set.
Yeah.
That is by definition what the apprenticeship is.
Yeah.
You're teaching someone the trades.
Yeah.
If you show up on time, you're going to get a certificate,
Yeah.
right? You're going to learn the trade. You're going to grow in the trade. Every success story of the trades we hear is somebody taking full advantage of the trade and then learning.
Yeah.
What do we see now? Everyone throws that out the window and saying, I need 3 to 5 years experience.
Yeah.
And then they're saying, where's the issue? The issue is the current generation doesn't know what they want.
Well, and and that's our fault too. I
No,
mean,
I
it
agree.
truly is.
I agree.
You know, one of the things that we're involved with in lifting the view of the skilled trades is we're not as tradesmen and tradeswomen, we're not doing a good job of telling our stories. And when I say entice, I don't mean to trick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean to entice people to be like, listen, this is a good life. This is a good. When I was a kid, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I ended up in this, and I don't want to go anywhere else because it's a good life, and I feel fulfilled in what I'm doing. And I believe that the opportunity is not the sky is the limit. I believe there is no limit in the opportunity. I mean, I started as an electrical apprentice, and I'm doing podcasts around the country on camera. Like that was not even in the cards.
Yep.
You know, I mean, my goodness. So I love it. I love it.
That was the basis of everything moving forward. When it comes
Yeah.
to dealing with people, filtering people in my life, what type of team members I want, as you're going to marry, character, trust, work ethic, character, trust, vision,
Yeah.
work ethic, skill set.
Yeah.
To the point where when we do our audits, every time when we have our conversations with our team internally and we say, hey, like, where are we now? The first question is, what's our vision and are we on track?
Yeah.
Hey, our vision is this. We need more money.
Yeah.
Excuse me? What's our vision? No, our vision. Cool.
Yeah.
You know, but mentally, check.
Yeah.
Because now we rate it 1 through 10. Like,
Yeah.
well, how'd you forget that was our vision? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then it comes to accountability. Are we selling the vision? Am I
Come
saying,
on.
hey, guys, this is what we're doing? Am I saying, now, because at first I can snap on him and just saying, whoa, why do you think this is a money thing?
Yeah.
But am I complaining about the money? Am
Yeah.
I complaining? Then they're going to be like, dude, you just went on a rant for 30 minutes about funding.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, well, we have a funding problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So once again, now it goes to the accountability. And then how do I talk to the team?
Yeah.
Am I showing character, trust, vision, work ethic, skill set?
Yeah.
You know, so all those things come into play. And then I've just been applying that to every aspect of my life when it comes to employees, when it comes to my family, the kids, just every type of conversation that we're having, character, trust, vision, work ethic, skill set. We don't want anybody, just because you can be an amazing worker or you can do anything on a job site, that doesn't mean you have good character or trust or vision. And that's what we have to do on the trades as a whole.
Yeah.
You know, when people want to be like, well, I'm a better electrician than you. And?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I can do this. That's only going to get you so far.
Yeah.
But when you start putting those other qualities into play, and then once again, when it comes to selling those qualities, you're going to start seeing that. And what I love about it is when you start saying those qualities. For example, I remember we work with some big pages on Instagram, big pages. And the second we decided to switch the conversation to character, trust, vision, people started filtering themselves away.
Yeah.
That was, I thought was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
And then once again, it goes back to the upbringing. Remember when I told you we came in a strict household, you know,
Yeah.
very Christian. So when all those things started to play, like now I'm seeing the value of those things.
Absolutely.
So that's where I'm like, dang, I wish I imagine. But
you
then,
wish you embraced it more. Yeah.
yeah. Or I'm seeing what happens when you apply it now.
Yeah.
As a kid, you just think it's restrictions. You think you're being controlled.
Yeah.
When it's like, nah, imagine if I was telling you like, oh, bro, I got wasted this weekend. And I said, I don't want to talk to you. That's not control. That's power.
Yeah.
That's saying, bro, why would I want to talk to you right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Do you remember what you did? No.
Yeah.
Cool. Great conversation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then on the other side, you got this mission you're going for, you're chasing, and it's like, what's next?
Yeah.
Oh, and you guys are broke this month? And how'd you pull it off? Oh, well, then you know what I mean? Now we have stories.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So just like I told you, I had a boring upbringing.
Yeah.
We have some cool stories now.
That's awesome, man. I mean, that's awesome.
So it's just been fun all in all. And just finding those groups of people, missions align, filtering yourself, qualities that you don't want, AIs tracking it, making sure like, hey, I'm keeping myself accountable. Then the people around you are just going to throw themselves. And that's what we've been seeing. Every time we had an issue, somebody was willing to pay, hey, I can help out with this.
Yeah.
So it's just been amazing all in all.
I think that it really gets lost on people, the awesomeness of working with, and you called it, sharing pressure, but the awesomeness of working with a team of people with a common goal and mission in mind. I would compare it to like soldiers that have been through a battle together.
Oh yeah.
It's when I was younger, I watched a show called Band of Brothers, and they literally went through things together and experienced things together. I remember once a young apprentice came to me and we were working a shutdown, and it was like we were up for like 31 hours, and it was like a through the weekend. And you know how that is. You shut down a factory and it's got to come back online. Like you're not going home. And we all went out to like the local diner afterwards when we were done in the morning, and we're sitting there, and this young apprentice is like, that was awesome. I mean, he was just like, and he still works with us to this day, and he fell in love with the challenge of that and working together. And when you work with people for a common goal, it's like it changes something in you, especially then. And while you don't care about actually achieving anything, but especially once you have achieved something together, what that does then, it's like, okay, I did this once, I can do it again. Oh, yeah. And it's like, so you and a team and when you have a team of people, you're able to do more than what you can do by yourself. And again, back to multiplication, I think that we don't realize that, in team members, 1 + 1 does not equal 2. 1 + 1 equals 6, 7, 8. And as you continue to multiply that, it's like, wow, we can be effective on a whole nother level here. Oh, yeah. As long as we utilize and dig into the power of multiplication.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You hit it on the head.
Yeah.
You hit it on. It's nice. And then it's just beautiful when you see it all come to fruition, because it's, yeah.
Yeah, it truly is satisfying. And I think that we're made to see that. So we've come to the point where I want to ask you this question. The first one was a softball, although you answered with AI, so that was interesting. But I always ask people, like, what's a mistake that you have made, that you've learned from, that you're willing to share with people? Because I believe that when we talk about our mistakes and we bring them out where they can be seen, then one, we're dealing with them, we're overcoming them. But two, we don't even realize that maybe somebody else is struggling with that. Maybe they dealt with that, or maybe it's something that by us sharing this, they'll remember that. So when they're in that situation, they don't do that. Yeah. And it helps them. You started off so intense and passionate here about, a vocational school and getting ahead. That's what sharing our mistakes, I believe, is about. It's helping people, hey, let me just help you a little bit farther so that when you kick off that you're going in the right direction, and hopefully I've given you some things that you can overcome that. Yeah. So what is a mistake that Will has made that you would be willing to share with us?
I think it would have to be with my wife and at home. And
we don't edit this. I'm just saying. Yeah. Okay.
No, and it's I think it always comes down to I touched on it before, where when you can get so tunnel vision on what you want, and then you don't have that shared vision together. Yeah. Like, it's one of those things where I can say, oh, I'm the man of the house, this is what we're going to do. But how much easier if it's like, babe, this is what we want to do, this is what we want to work to, and have that same vision at home. Yeah. Because one of the things that I failed in the beginning, and once again, an advisor, a mentor, Patrick Beth David, helped me with this. He goes, what are you doing with your team? Selling the vision. Everyone's aligned. I'm keeping track. I'm keeping myself accountable. He's like, awesome. You never mentioned your wife. And I was like, dang. He goes, you have to sell the vision to your team. What about a home base?
Yeah.
And then I was like, why is she always mad? And then it's like, she knows I'm working. Yeah. And that's the part. And then the human and just male tendencies, because it's like, do you understand? Like, not that we would want to flag it, but it's like,
come on, this is good.
It's like, you understand, I'm not like at the bar Friday night acting stupid, neglecting the kids. It's like, I'm working on something I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I can easily be a dirtbag.
Yeah.
And just say, you know, forget it. You're not present. But so when she's telling us, we feel like you're not here, it's not saying you're just like every other dirt beat out there.
Yeah.
It's saying, it's genuinely, you're not here.
Yeah.
And even though I'm home and I'm working, it's like, you're still not engaging.
Yeah.
So it's that connection, and then selling the vision to the team. And I told you, like, I'll be sitting down. My wife will know when I start getting fidgety. Yeah. And she's like, okay, I know a fight's going to come. Let him go work. You know what I mean? Yeah. We'll sit down, watch 30 minutes of Hocus Pocus. And I'm like, I love my wife, you know? 30 minutes in, I'm doing this. And then she's like, babe, you know what? I want to go to bed. And I'm like, oh, yeah? It's 9:30. I was like, I can do an hour's worth of work. Oh, this is good. So I'm all excited now. I was like, baby, let me help you upstairs then. Let me get you over, give her a nice kiss, you know. Yeah. I get to the office, start working, and I'm like, she just punked me.
Yeah.
She knows that I was getting restless. So she's like, I don't want this to become a thing. So let me just cut it quits now. So then I'm like, dang, now I feel like a jerk in the office for the next 30 minutes, still working. And then I'm like, I got to make it up to her.
She sounds pretty awesome.
No, she is.
She sounds pretty awesome.
She's been to, I know she's been to the red line with me so many times.
Boy, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. She's with the baby scenario.
Yeah.
You know, literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the point where I'm in California having this, and of course, you know, marketing and Instagram. So,
it's all real, by the way.
So she's like, oh, he's having fun.
Yeah.
She's doing this. And I'm with this baby on a Saturday, and on Monday she gave birth.
Yeah.
So
wow.
I made it home on time, just to let everybody know. I made it home on time. But you can imagine holding this baby in for 9 months now. Your husband's over there having fun with, you know, all these guys online, and you're home alone with all 2 kids and then the third on the way.
Wow.
So
I know what you're talking about there, and I think it's one of those things that we really miss, especially in the trades, and especially if you're an entrepreneur. If you're an entrepreneur, there is something broken in your brain, I mean that's why when you were talking about she's going to bed and you're like, I can work for an hour. I know what that's like. Yeah. It's like, but I learned from a mentor of mine, proximity over presence. Mm-hmm. Like, I would be giving her proximity, thinking I'm giving presence, you know, and it's like, I really have to work hard at disconnecting myself from the business, from the day, from the, you know, and I'll never forget this. An old timer once in one of my conversations where he was sharing his mistakes with me said that, you know, when I go home, and he was running a business, a pretty successful construction business. He said, when I go home, I actually park a couple blocks away from the house, and I sit in my truck for 10 minutes. And I was like, what do you do that for? And he goes, you know, when you're at work, you can have all this stuff just kind of pile on. And he goes, I kept finding myself, I'd walk in the door and I would just dump it on my wife and my kids, and it would just come out. Yeah. And he goes, so I would take 10 minutes and I would sit in my truck and I would just process all that stuff out, so that when I walked in the door, I was like, hey, how was your day? Instead of, do you know what happened to me today? Mm-hmm. Like, and it was huge. And that helped me and my wife be able to figure out, oh, she wants presence, not proximity. And presence goes so much farther than proximity, because it has value to it, because I'm engaged, I'm there, I'm with her. And it's like, and my wife has been to the red line with me as well. Matter of fact, she's brought me back from the red line, to be quite honest. And I think that's something that entrepreneurs need to know. If you're looking to start a business, or that's in you and you want it and you're going to do it, if your wife isn't on board, get a job. Yeah. Don't start a business, because you need her to be with you in it, because you got to share the pressure. Yeah. And that is your number one partner right there. And it's so much more important than we give it credit for.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
100%.
yeah.
And that's what I learned, the hard way. And then the second you start having those conversations, then it's like night and day.
Yeah.
Then it's night and day. And it's not even a hard conversation. It's just realizing, once again, just the accountability side of things. It's like, oh man, this is what we had to start doing, and then give them their time, give them their, hey, sell the vision. And then once again, you can go back to the videos. I'm traveling with all the team members all the time.
Yeah.
My wife's like, that would have been a nice trip I could have gone on.
Yeah.
It's you think about it, like, and all the things you're like, and then she's at home with the kids in Connecticut. Oh wow, and you're in Florida with so and so, or you're in Florida, California with so and so.
Yeah.
I've never been to California, and that's your 4th time. Interesting. So it's all those things, and just putting yourself in that situation where a scenario where you're like, let's talk about this, let's share the pressure, let's do this together.
Yeah.
I'm
definitely guilty of that. My wife loves to tell stories, where so I would be so into what I was doing. And the business would be growing. And I remember we were at some event and someone's like, yeah, we heard that you just won this huge job and that the company's expanding and this and this and this. And I literally was at dinner with my wife and she turns and she looks at me and she goes, well, that would have been nice to know.
Yeah.
I just never told her about it. I never thought about it. I never shared it with her. I wasn't having that proximity with her.
Yep.
So.
And the other way around, like, for example, we have family over this weekend. And for the first time, something like, as she was talking, like, it just didn't sit well with me. And I didn't have this conversation with her yet. So I don't know how to bring it up. But like when her family, and so I'm trying to take family out of it because, everyone talks about family. So she's like, oh, how are you guys doing? The typical conversation. And then she's like, oh, we're doing good. And then Danny went on 10 minutes of what I'm doing. Mm. And I was like, me as a third party, I noticed her keep saying he.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, I don't like that now.
Yeah.
But then it's like she's excited for me. And then it's like if I say something now, the family's going to be like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah.
So now I got to like revisit that.
Yeah.
It's like, dang, she's super supportive to the point where, but then when the narrative is somewhere else, and it's not even a bad narrative.
Yeah.
It's just like, look at everything he's doing, like proud of me. And it's not sitting well with me. And it's my story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm supposed to be the hero. She's talking about it. And I was like, I don't like that. So now it's like, how do I make this into a look what he's doing to look what we're doing?
Yeah.
Once again, I didn't have this conversation with her, but now it's like something I have to. Yeah.
Well, you said she listens.
Yeah.
So Energize Us. Let's talk about that. You guys, we're going to have, you have every year this event. What's it called?
It's our Builders Convention.
Builders Convention. And I know that the date was in July and it got moved. And so what is the date now that this is happening?
So we're going to hold it August 11th through the 13th at the Dallas Convention Center, the Marriott Hotel.
Okay.
So there's a Dallas Convention Center. Just know it's at the Marriott Dallas Convention Center.
Okay. And that's in August. And who can come to that?
Anybody's available. If anybody's available to come, we welcome all. Once again, this is for apprentices looking for a career change or looking to get into the skilled trades. We have contractors who are looking for networking capacity. Right now, we have 1,000 estimated to attend. I think we're roughly around 600 right now, but we have another 2 months now to keep pushing that. We have some big brands pushing and helping us out. We have Milwaukee, who's doing 35,000 worth of giveaways of tools.
Wow.
We have Ideal, Knipex. We have Rocky Boots. We have just companies all.
I'm going to stop you for 1 second. Is it out?
Just like 2 minutes. I thought we were going to have enough time. It was
Okay. So basically, he just in that camera.
Yeah, just this one.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you can keep going. He's just changing out the card.
Perfect. So we have a whole bunch of companies with the shared mission. Once again, share that pressure, and to the point where I know we were talking about like companies supporting the mission and everything. To the point where when we have these conversations with the companies, we're sharing pressure with the companies, and whenever I spoke with our business advisor, he's always been on look for partnerships, look to continue to share that pressure. Because if you just ask for grants, if you just ask for sponsorships, you have a problem.
Yeah.
But if we are in a partnership, we have a problem.
That's right.
So he said, share that pressure. He goes, what do companies need? Marketing, who's on your team?
Yeah.
Share the pressure.
Come on.
Travel, show them the difference. Remember, Instagram, influencers, they love to be flown everywhere. Last year, what we did was had a all hands on executive meeting in New York, and we flew all our partners to us.
Come on.
So we
That's
invited
cool.
the marketing directors who typically fly out the influence. We invited them to New York City.
Come on.
And we spent the 3-day with them. Now, even if they have to, like budget cuts or whatever, if they have to chop people off,
Yeah.
they're going to be like, dang, at least they took us out with. Just give them that little bit of hesitation.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
And then, so once again, it's sharing the pressure with everyone, with your family, with your teammates, with the people you're working with. You just constantly share the pressure. There's members of our team who were actually students of our classes.
Yeah. Come on.
And they were like, what you guys are doing, I want to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
So if you are deliberate in talking about, hey, this is what you want to do, this is where we want to go, this is what we want to change in the industry, you never know who's going to be listening.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, wow, I like that. How can I help?
Yeah.
And then people will throw themselves at you.
Yeah.
But if you don't filter them out with character, trust, work ethic, skill set, and vision, you're going to get everybody and their mother throwing them at you because you're the next trendy thing.
Yeah.
But if you have a filtering process, then you're going to literally be stuck with gold at the end of it.
Yeah.
So that's everything that we've been doing with the school as a whole, leading up to these conventions, which now we share back with the community.
That's pretty awesome. Will, at Blackline, we like to say our vision is to lift the view of the skilled trades. And we know that we can't do it alone. I really appreciate what you're doing to lift the view of the skilled trades and to promote a good life for people. And, thank you, Mr. Perry, for your investment in Will.
Right.
And, there are those.
He got me in fights all the time.
Yeah.
He was like, you're going to let him say that?
Oh, my gosh. I really appreciate what you're doing, and I want to say thank you.
Appreciate you.
And I really appreciate you taking the time to step up to the line and have a real and honest conversation with us.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Especially for coming out to Connecticut, during a thunderstorm. So really, really thank you and everything you're doing.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. All right, that's it. We're out.